people to think he's a great world teacher. And if they spend 2 minutes listening to one of my radio shows or on my websites, they're going to realize exactly what he is. And so I think that's a big reason why the internet cables are being cut, because they want that part of the world to stay deceived. They had them where they wanted them. You know, they had Iran and all those Arabs over there all waiting for their Mahdi to arrive, and he certainly wants to arrive and be welcomed and esteemed as their 12th Imam or Mahdi or Messiah or whatever. He doesn't want the kind of welcome he'd have here in America, and so I think that's a big reason for the cables being cut. And I saw it in the codes. Another thing, something I sent out last week, this article about an Afghan student sentenced to death after downloading a report. This kid, 23-year-old college kid, and he's a university student, and he downloads something off the computer. And he was accused for blasphemy for distributing a report to other students and teachers at his school. This report that he downloaded had something to do because it criticized Islamic fundamentalists who misrepresent statements in the Quran to justify the oppression of women. Because Islam wasn't always like that. It was Sharia law, this extreme fundamentalist version of Islam that the Catholic Church and the CIA implemented over there, that began as this oppression of women thing in the Quran. And so they accused him of blasphemy and had a court without a jury and sentenced him to death. And this is the same kind of thing, folks, that we're going to be seeing here. And it's not when, it's not if, it's when, I should say. Because I already started this last year. Remember last year, September, October, I was looking at the codes and told you they were coming up ways to stop the Oregon Warriors. And soon enough, they came out with this homegrown terrorism bill. And they're going to use these laws. When you see something passed and happening in one country, it's going to go around to all of them because we're under global jurisdiction, a global court, global law. And so what one country enforces, another country is going to as well. And so definitely, folks, I would watch for that happening here. I can't say a whole lot about it, but watch for the homegrown terrorism bill because, Bush has signed all kinds of directives that he can pull out and use to throw this country into martial law. And he fully plans to, folks. It's not if, but when. It's coming here. I'm going to answer maybe one more question. I'm going to hang it up for the night. Hi, I'm listening to your show for the first time. Welcome to the show. Can you please talk about the chemtrails, their purpose? Chemtrails have like 101 uses, like Oregon does, in combating them. Chemtrails, people have, I've got a website on this, chemtrailagenda.com. Highlight a bunch of different info and stuff that's out there. But their purpose is basically to control, they use HAARP to control the weather. They also use chemtrails to dim the atmosphere. Because the aliens are sensitive to light. They can't handle the sun. And so chemtrails will serve as a dimmer. Chemtrails are also used, the aerosols and chemtrails are used for holographs. You've seen people, I saw Mary in the clouds. Look, there's a poster and there's Jesus in the cloud, practicing their holographic programs. That's what that's used as well. They also use it to spread plagues, diseases, things like that around the world. Part of their depopulation program. And so they have 1,000,001 different things they're doing with these chemtrails. Basically to destroy people on the planet of Earth, one way or the other. Something good about them. And the good thing about Oregon is that an Oregon-saturated area can keep chemtrails out. Chemtrails can't penetrate Oregon-saturated areas. Hello, Sherry. Do you have any ideas how I would Oregon this tower? Just go up about, whatever, from the road or whatever, and throw some Oregon in a ditch or a bush or a tree and throw it around. Get it out there. We don't have to do anything. The Oregon does the rest. Just very simple. Just go start tossing it around the tower. You don't even have to get out of your car. See a ditch, throw it in the ditch. because orgone assimilates into the atmosphere, and it's a constant automation. And with the constantly automating, it's filling up our atmosphere, saturates an area, and then the Lord blows the wind and blows it where He needs it. Definitely. And I love seeing that it's apocalyptic, that it has apocalyptic purposes. What is your opinion of Jesse Duplantis? He's a snake. He's such a snake. Him and Copeland and that whole TBN crowd, I can't watch it for 2 seconds. Don't listen to these charlatans, folks. Get out of the religion and get into the Lord. The Lord isn't religion. Religion is man's attempt to find God. God isn't lost. The Word became flesh, not the KJV. Some sort of people think when he was talking about the Word, he was talking about the KJV. KJV didn't exist back then. His Word was the Torah, and the Word became flesh, and through Him we learn how to follow Him. And so we have to seek Him, knock on the door, and seek Him. Being stuck in this endless mirage of religion and in this whole church system, where you have these church-dumb Christians who go to church once a week and then just think they're doing everything they need to do for the Lord. They're one of the Lord's. I'm in the God's Army choir and everything else, and then they do nothing for Him. Get out of religion. Start asking Him to teach you the truth in all things, and the first thing He will do is lead you out of it. And start celebrating His anointed times and His feast with us, folks. Because He gave us 7 feasts and appointed times, and the church is more amused with selling Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving and things that aren't even of the Lord. And so anyway, folks, I'm going to wrap it up tonight. Just a lot of things coming up for this year, folks. Keep your eyes on the skies. That's what the Lord told me, so I'll tell you. Yeah, March could be interesting. July could be looking at some fireworks in Washington, D.C. as a result of us meddling in the Middle East. I don't know. I guess once March and April come and go, we'll be able to call it better from there exactly if we're in 2009 or just where we're at as far as the timeline goes. But yeah, like I said, they're sending up a space shuttle to bring somebody down. And I have a feeling that the somebody they're bringing down is Maitreya, and then he's going to show up his ugly head in March as the Messiah. And that's why they're getting ready for his arrival and cutting the cables in the Middle East so they can't be forewarned that they're about to be deceived. And so, yeah, you can feel it in the air. Something's coming. And another thing is the New Jerusalem coming from Orion's belt. Not exactly the New Jerusalem, just a fake, a mimic, a simulation, a Hollywood production. And so just some things to keep your eyes on until next week. So that's it, folks. I'll see you next week. Talk to you then. God bless.